Have you ever looked at a skin and wondered, why is it called an Azimoff, or why is the Kronos filled with a bunch of gears? Well, today, we will dive into the designs of iconic skins to figure out what hidden meanings and Easter eggs they contain. I'm Slade, and this is the lore behind your favorite CS2 skins. Let's start with the Azimoff, one of the most memorable and legendary skins in all of CS2. The distinct orange and white design resembles something that came out of a futuristic factory, and the name confirms that since it's inspired by Isaac Azimoff, an American writer who was one of the biggest science fiction writers of his time, with books such as Foundation, I, Robot, and The End of Eternity being timeless classics that still influence our culture even today. He wrote many books that featured themes of dystopian futuristic societies, and that's where the CS2 skin got its inspiration from, looking like a facility straight from the future, and being named after the writer himself. Oni Tai is a clean op skin from the Hydra case, featuring traditional Japanese art of a samurai fighting a demon. Now, the word Oni Tai means demon extermination in Japanese, which makes this skin even more badass in my opinion. Demons, or Oni, are a staple in Japanese folklore, with plenty of legends about samurai slaying demons with their tachi, and you can actually see the sword on the op near the barrel. One more dope Easter egg is that there is kanji written on the stock which spells out courage. Overall, this skin has absolutely gorgeous artwork with great meaning behind the design. Next up, we have the Icarus Fell, the bright blue M4A1S coming straight from the Gods and Monsters collection. Now, this entire collection features skins that are inspired by Greek mythology, and this skin is based on the tale of Daedalus and Icarus, who were trying to escape King Minos as they were trapped in a tower. They created wings for themselves out of feathers and wax, and before flying away, Daedalus told his son Icarus that he should be careful to not fly too close to the sun, and as the name of the skin suggests, Icarus fell. The sun melted the wax, causing the feathers to fall, and Icarus fell into the sea and drowned. You can notice elements of this story on the skin, with the circular part being the sun, surrounded by feathers, which the wings were made of. You can also see a melting wax pattern on this gun, which shows up in different spots depending on the pattern ID. Each drawing on this gun uses a different part of this myth and does a great job of storytelling through design. The first AUG on our list is the Sidm, which has a retro-futuristic design to it, with lots of cables and power sources scattered through the gun. Now, the skin was actually created by Sidm himself, who was an absolute icon of industrial designing. He created amazing concept artworks of futuristic technology like cars, buildings, and cities, and has been tremendously influential over the years, inspiring movies like the Star Trek series, Aliens, Tron, Blade Runner, and a ton more. Sidm designed the skin himself, with his art style being displayed clearly through the whole AUG, and it's amazing to see his work within the game we all play. Moving on, we have the most expensive Negev in the game coming from the Norse collection, which is the Mjolnir. I think we can all agree that this is one of the best skins in the game, with the inspiration behind it coming straight from Norse mythology. In the stories, the god of lightning Thor wields a hammer that goes by the name of Mjolnir, which helped Thor in defending Asgard from the frost giants. Now, this skin has a massive amount of Easter eggs on it, so let's go over them. The whole gun is covered in Nordic runes, and multiple parts of the gun have a drawing of the hammer itself. We also see lightning decals on the stock, mag, and the cover, which also has Thor written on it in a Nordic style. On the handle, you can see a giant, which is called Jotun in the myths, and between the engravings on the sides, you can actually see the entire hammer itself. This artwork is insanely detailed, and you really have to take a good look to see everything that the skin has to offer. Another skin from the Gods and Monsters collection is Kronos. This G3 skin is covered in gears from the stock to the barrel and scope. Now, you might be wondering, what do gears have to do with mythology? So let me explain. Kronos in Greek mythology was the god of time, and the Greek word for time is Kronos as well. Now, back to the G3, the gun is covered in gears that specifically come from watches, all of which are layered on top of each other. So it's a pretty cool connection where the skin is named after the god of time, and the art features gears that turn the time on a watch. So it's a smart way of connecting the artwork to mythology through symbolism. From the CS20 case, we got the Glock 18 Sacrifice, depicting a CT agent defusing a bomb while standing in flames. This skin is based on a round that happened on Overpass between Team Dignitas and Fnatic, where the player Olafmeister sticks a defuse on the bomb while sitting in a molly and defuses the bomb right as he dies, bringing Fnatic one round away from winning. This skin is a throwback to this moment, and you can see the same artwork in Overpass on B-site. Great way to commemorate this iconic moment in pro play. Next up, we have the Gungir, which is the covert op from the Norse collection. Similar to the Mjolnir, this skin was created with a Norse theme in mind, and is arguably the best skin that has ever touched CS2. In Norse mythology, the god Odin is always shown holding a spear, and the name of that spear is Gungir. Now right away when you look at the op, you can see this exact spear running through the middle, surrounded by Norse patterns that cover the whole gun. My favorite part of this skin is the small Easter egg on the stock of the op, where we can see a wolf engraving of Fenrir, who was a massive wolf that ended up eating Odin during Ragnarok. The storytelling is amazing here, and the overall look speaks for itself. Moving on to the next skin, we actually have the most expensive gloves in the game, which are Pandora's Box. Now, in Greek mythology, Pandora's Box was a myth about a Greek artifact that was opened by Pandora, which let out death and sickness into the world. The artists drew their interpretation of what came out of this artifact in the shape of little ghosts and used it as the pattern for the inner palm of the gloves, which is also pattern based. You can also see this artwork on the MP9, where the pattern is much larger and covers the whole gun. The Valve team did a great job of tying the name, mythology, and design into one amazing pair of sports gloves. The Minotaurs Labyrinth UMP came from the Gods and Monsters collection, so we are back to Greek mythology for this one. Remember how I mentioned that Daedalus guy whose son Icarus fell out of the sky? Well, he created a maze for King Minos that was extremely elaborate and was meant to hold the Minotaur, a beast that was half man, half bull. If we look at the skin's pattern sheet, it's a massive maze that covers the whole page, and towards the center you will actually see the Minotaur himself, who appears on rare patterns for this skin in game. It's amazing how the artist made rare patterns part of the lore for this skin. But the coolest part is that the Minotaur's name is Asterion, which is also an MP7 skin from the Gods and Monsters collection that features a maze-like pattern throughout the gun. Moving on, let's take a look at the CZ75 Jingl from the Spectrum case, which features a bunch of snake artwork and wave patterns. Jingl is a 9-headed water snake from Chinese mythology that causes floods and destruction everywhere it went. Now, when we look at the skin, you'll notice that there's 4 snakes on the handle, 4 snakes near the slide, and 1 snake towards the back facing the player, which equals out to 9, exactly how it's mentioned in the stories. The pattern on the gray parts is also drawn in the style of water moving in waves, so the creator of the skin really focused on the small details to match the aspects of the story, and the end result came out great. For our final skin, we have the Fire Serpent, which tends to be highly divisive in the community. The artwork has an urban graffiti style to it, with the green serpent spreading through the whole gun. Now, this serpent is actually inspired by Quetzalcoatl, who is the god of life, light, and wisdom in Aztec culture. To the Aztecs, he was a creator deity that basically created mankind and was often referred to as the feathered serpent. Now back to the skin, the artist drew this Aztec god in his snake form and went with a more traditional design where his mouth is stretched upwards with golden spots on his head and tail. While some find this skin to be overrated, the design itself stayed true to its influence and has a distinct art style that is easily recognizable. So here's everything that I have for you today. This is part 1 of a series that I'm starting on my channel, and there are tons of skins we will explore in future episodes to figure out their meanings. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, consider subbing to the channel for more content like this. I hope you have a great day and see you in the next video. Peace out.